book. Why is it so important for a young lady to buy your book, and how can they get a hold of your book?
Yes, these are my printed copies of the book, but this book is a workbook, and it's like a journal. It's got lines in it, but let me back up. The reason why I have two books is because this book kind of gives you the story, while this book allows you to record your thoughts and your notes about the topics presented. The books are pretty much mutually exclusive. If you don't ever read this book, this can still be of a benefit to you. I actually showed this to some women in a group 2 weeks ago, and they love it. They've never read this book, and they want this book, and they're grown women. So you can get the books together or not. This book, this blue one, is available on all ebook formats. So if you have Kindle, EPUB, Mobi, PDF, whatever you want, I got it here. This book is not, simply because, again, the technology only takes you so far right now. This book needs to be written in. You need to record your thoughts. You need to stop and sit down and really think about how you're feeling and what's going on in your life to go through this book. So this book is only available in a printed form. Perhaps, the iPad will come up with something where we can have an ebook that we can write in, but for now, that's what it is. And both of the books are available on my website, which is dareeallen.com. That's spelled DareeAllen. That's my name. And then they're also available at your favorite major online retailer. But again, they're interchangeable. You can have one, you can have both. They're both going to be a blessing to you or to your nieces, your goddaughters, yourself, ladies. I mean, we read. You can read the book before your daughter does. Trust me, you probably will want to buy two, because you'll read the book and then you'll be like, you know what, she ain't getting this. I'm just saying.
That's cool. That's cool. So once again, they can purchase the book online at your website, dareeallen.com, or they can go somewhere maybe like Barnes and Nobles or Amazon.com. Can they purchase it?
They can purchase it at the major online retailers. Okay. I don't say their names because they don't. They're not terribly. I'll say this: some major online retailers are not terribly favorable upon people like myself. I'm an independent publisher, which means that I published this book from start to finish. Okay. I didn't go through a company like Author House or Ex Libris or anything like that. I actually went down and created a business. I bought my own barcodes, my own ISBN numbers. I hired all the people that created this book. I hired the lady that created this cover, the ladies that edited it, the people that did the website, everything that created this book after the manuscript form, I had to hire and I had to pay for myself. And the major online retailers, for those of you who have never written a book on your own, they're not they make independent authors and independent publishers pay a big cut of the money that would be going to the author or the publisher goes to them, just for the simple fact that they are major. Because if you're major, if you're number one, you pretty much can do that. I wouldn't say they're a monopoly, but even Barnes & Noble is having problems now with Amazon because they're rolling out new features with Kindle publishing and other things. And Barnes & Noble is saying, hold on, you want these authors to be exclusive with Amazon. So if I write an ebook and I want to publish it in Kindle and be in this Kindle Select program or what have you, then that means I cannot have people buy my ebook from Barnes & Noble. Well, what if you have a Nook? What if you don't have a Kindle? What if you don't like Kindle and Amazon? I don't like making customers, forcing them to choose. So the easiest thing to do, I feel, is to just go directly to me. If I was part of a big house, like a Random House or Simon & Schuster, it'd probably be a whole different ball game. But even those authors, they still have to market, they still have to get their hustle on. So that's why I explained that you can get your books at any major online retailer, What She Said, or wherever, you can Google that title, What's Wrong With Me by Daree Allen. But if you go to my website, you just go right there.
So plain and simple, just go to our website to purchase the book.
I mean, I can understand if you got a gift card or something, but yeah.
So just go to our website and check it out, which is good because that leads me into my next question. My next question would be, what goes into writing a book from start to finish, because yes, young women, not stereotypically, but young women, they really like to read, and you find that a lot of young women, they like to write. It's a great way for us to vent versus fussy. So, you know, what goes into producing your own book?
A lot. I actually wrote the book. It took me a couple of years to get through writing the book, not because I can't write, I write very well, but because the information was so close to me. I really needed another set of eyes to come in and say, you know what, this part right here, this isn't relevant. This part right here, I need you to trim it down and get to the point, because you're going on and on. Or this part over here, I need more context. Where were you when this happened? Because they're on the outside looking in. When you're writing something, it's in your heart, you got the vision, it's really, really close to you. So you need someone else, someone that knows something, not just any old body, you know. Somebody that can really say to you, you know what, I'm liking where you're going, and I think I know where you're going, but I need a little more clarity. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be someone that's an editor. It could just be someone that reads it over and just gives their impression, their first impressions about whether or not there was a flow to the story, because some of you write fiction. This book is nonfiction. So there might be a flow to the story that you want to make sure that there's integrity in the story. If it's a nonfiction book, you want to make sure it's as factual as possible. I didn't use anyone's real name, and most of the people I've been able to contact and say, you know what, there's a little bit of you in this book, but I've hid your identity. So unless you're in our circle, you don't know who I'm talking about. So it's important to take care of learn as much as you can and research about the legal ramifications, as well as getting a writing coach or a writing mentor. Maybe you want to join a writing critique group, and you all swap stories, and people kind of take turns, and they say, you know, not oh, that was good. No, some feedback that you can really use, because if
criticism, definitely.
If my stuff sucks, I want you to tell me it sucks. Don't necessarily say it that way, but we need to like get away from this pity pat, like, oh yeah, that's great, because like for instance, my brand, I want it to be about quality. So I would never want someone to pick up my book, whatever cover it looked like, and say, oh, this is a self-published book. This is an amateur book. This is something that somebody did in their house, and it looks like it. No, ma'am. My book doesn't look like I did it in my house, because I did. I spent thousands doing this book. So, you know, you want to make sure that the story is tight, that everything flows. When it comes from the manuscript into actually the publishing part, there's kind of like a set of steps that I probably wouldn't get them all in the right order right now, but there's a set of steps that you can go through that you need to do in a certain order. I mean, you wouldn't want to have the book laid out with all the graphics and everything in a book layout and then edit it. That doesn't make any sense. You want to get it edited first, and please do not skimp on the editing. That's why people think your book is an amateur, because every other sentence has got typos in it, and after a while they're sort of, you know, this is garbage. I'm not reading this, because they expect quality. They don't want to pick up a book and have to be distracted because every other paragraph has got a mistake in it. You know, so get it edited first. That's definitely first. You might have to get it edited twice. My book was edited by 2 different people, because I just wanted to make absolutely sure my stuff was tight. After the editing, I think we went to the layout, and then we did proofreading. And the proofreader just basically goes through the book after it's laid out as in a PDF format, and they kind of make sure that what was in the initial raw file, like a Word file or what have you, whatever text was in the initial file translated properly, because sometimes with the layout packages, you might have an M dash, an N dash, a colon, italics, and it gets wiped out when the formatting gets converted over to the layout program. And the graphic designer may not catch it, because all they're doing is laying it out. They're not reading every word. So you need a proofreader to go back through. And it could be one of the editors, that's fine. It could be, you know, a project manager, it could be your mama. It could be somebody that hasn't read the book 100 times like you have. And you want to make sure that everything is laid out properly. Is the text justified? If you have sidebars in the book, do they match, or are you jumping to different formats? Because you don't want to do that. Are your headers and footers correct? Is your table of contents correct? I mean, all these things are they seem very nitpicky. But people, again, it just takes one little thing for someone to just throw that book to the side and say, shh, I read that, what's wrong with me? And I'm going to tell you what's wrong with her. You know, looks like garbage. So you don't want that to happen. So So make sure you get it edited and proofread. You know, of course, the graphic artist will take care of your book cover, your layout. And by the way, all graphic designers do not all do the same types of graphics. So make sure you find someone that has done book covers before, because just because they can design a logo doesn't necessarily mean they're gifted with book covers. The design of a book cover, there's so many things that go into it. I don't even know. I'm in my lane. I'm a writer. I don't even know what they are. But it's like a whole lot of things that go into creating a book cover that would not go into creating a logo or creating a flyer or creating a brochure or creating a commercial. It's just different types of design. There's different elements of design. There's whole art schools and design schools based on typography. There might be a class on typography and that's all they do is talk about typography in journalism or in commercials. I mean, you can go as deep as you want with that thing. So just make sure when you're interviewing graphic designers and graphic artists that they excel in the type of design work you want done. You know, obviously my book is done. Now I'm in the marketing phase. Well, perhaps this person can also do marketing materials and can do those flyers and postcards, but maybe he or she cannot. Maybe he or she just prefers to just stay in that lane of book covers or book layout. So you just, again, just got to figure out what it is, because sometimes they'll even say, I do these 10 things. You know, doesn't necessarily mean they can do all 10 of those things. Sometimes they can, and sometimes they can't. Look at that portfolio and see if you like what else they've done, because if they did it really great for 20 other clients, they'll do it great for you too.
Awesome. Wow. It's a lot more that goes into it than I thought. I mean, most people think, hey, I'm just going to write this story, get it bound, and then market it. So it's a lot more that goes into it. But understand, you don't have to be the best writer in the world to write a great book. All you need is just a great idea, somebody to help you push those ideas. So Daree, I really appreciate your time. I'm quite sure everybody watching enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot. Ladies, get this book. Fellas, if you have daughters, get this book, because guys are very important as far as helping young women with their self-esteem.
Yes, absolutely.
So, yeah, any last words for our audience?
Well, I just want to say that if you're watching this, I don't really care if you're 15 or you're 55. If you're watching this and you are really thinking about this question, what's wrong with me? I just want you to know from the bottom of my heart that there is nothing wrong with you. Do not let the enemy plant or even your toxic friends, do not let them plant seeds in your mind that tell you that you're not good enough, that you can't write a book, that you cannot create a business, that you cannot finish school, that you cannot be a good single parent, that you cannot, because you can.
That's right.
You can do anything, anything that you're in right now in your life. God's giving you the grace to be able to deal with that thing for the time being until he takes you to the next step, because the key is that we're going to get to, we've got to go through. And this is through. This is not permanent. This is not a stop. This is through. So to get to, we've got to go through. Nothing is wrong with you.
That's right. And in the words of our great president, Barack Obama, yes, we can. All right? It's your girl, Hill Green, for Hill Green TV, here with author Daree Allen. What's wrong with me? Absolutely nothing. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Peace. Yeah.